Hello, Brother Monroe here. Welcome back to Ultimate Naval Dreadnoughts and to the Greek campaign, where Turkey had... Well, I declared war on Turkey, actually. We're also having Japanese problems, which I will deal with in a moment. But I did want to take the opportunity to go for the war with Greece. War with Turkey once again. Because I do want to take all their stuff. They really don't have a big navy to threaten me. One armoured cruiser, which should be able to deal with no problem. But there is a Japanese fleet up here that does need actually dealt with. I am just waiting for the Georgios here to finish commissioning up, and then we'll go smash them. So 2 months. On the research side, we are... we have battle cruisers. Okay, well, as soon as it's finished, we should maybe get a battle cruiser going now, then. Okay, let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at what we could maybe build in the form of a battle cruiser. Okay, so it's really going to be the same idea as the Doxa and the Georgios. It's just going to be by default a bit faster. So we probably want around the 22,000 ton mark, I would guess. Let's shove a funnel on. A funnel. What's the theoretical maximum speed of this? 26. Ooh, very nice. Suffers a little bit in the efficiency department if I do that. But if I narrow the beam just enough to get 100%. Yeah, that is a significant narrowing. Maybe that's not worth it. Maybe I just shove a second funnel on it at some point. I will see how space works. We do have access to triples. We also have access to the 14-inch gun. I think a 14-inch gun is going to be too big, too heavy. I would like a 14-inch gun, though. So I think we're going to stick with our... I also think they're too big. Literally too big and too heavy for this hull. So I think we're going to stick with the design we've been using. That's a funky tower. And then this one needs to go here. So really I'm building this like our dreadnoughts. And then we need a secondary tower. Can't use the biggest one, but we can use this one. I then want to... I think we stick with a very similar design, actually. Although this tower makes the side guns a little bit trickier to place. I can place one here and one here easily enough. Can't put another one in. What other choices do I get? Yeah, I could use this one. Because I think I can get a... Again, a third is... Sure, I can get a third one in if I try. Yeah, there we go. So we're getting a third pair of 8s in on the ship. Why are they none rotated in a strange way? There we go. So now we have 3 pairs of 8s on each side, although I actually did notice in the last fight that the 8s were maybe not performing as well as I would have hoped, but it's just something I'm going to have to deal with. So that's one option. The other option would be... what? Hang on, I've got 6-inch Mark IIIs. I think that makes more sense. Let's get that big secondary tower in again, because that, I think, fills up the space a bit more nicely. And rather than those 8s, which have been slightly underwhelming, yeah, let's use some 6-inch guns. So commonality with the extra casemates. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 6-inch guns per side. And those are Mark IIIs. Very nice. Okay. What kind of pen are we talking about on these things? Yeah, we should probably go increased AP on both. Okay, got plenty of weight left for armour. I might fiddle with the gun length slightly. Yeah, let's make them both 56 caliber. Nice long range 6-inch guns that can fire out to about 11 kilometers, which is pretty cool. So what was I using? 3-inch here. I will remember the conning tower armor this time. Max the belt, so it'll be the same as the others. Although I think, yeah, this will be the same as the Georgios, right? No, I think that had a 13-inch main belt. So it's actually slightly more heavily armored. 1.5, 3, 2. 2.5, 6.5, and we're at exactly 100%. So it is once again an evolution of the kind of Doxa design. Another 1,000 tons on top. Another, well, it's actually not that much more expensive than the Georgios, with just a little bit more armor and a little bit more speed and a rearranged secondary battery. But yeah, this is not actually not a battle cruiser at all. I don't think in any way, shape or form. I think, yeah, this is essentially the same as the Georgios here, just slightly different. So you effectively have a class of 3, but each ship is different. Which I actually really like. So yeah, let's save that design. I still don't think we can realistically build more than one at a time. And then I'm just going to wait 2 turns, and then we're going to go fight the Japanese fleet over here. and then we'll take the fight to the Turks. Okay, we have cornered the Japanese task force. By the way, if you're wondering what happened to Chile and why why Chile, we're still at war with Chile, it's because I was going to send the fleet to Easter Island, and then I saw this Japanese fleet arrive. Our alliance with Britain ended because of the stupid diplomacy system. That has been something that has needed a rework for a very long time. It is also a case of ripping the entire system out and trying to rebuild it, which is not the easiest thing to do when you are modding a game, because it basically means injecting code over the top, which doesn't always work the way you would like it to. Anyway, we have found the Japanese fleet, two Asahi class battleships. Big guns, 15.2s. The armour isn't great though, so I think these are Mark 1 15-inch guns. We have Doxa, the newly commissioned Georgios, and the veterans of the Canaris, although Doxa is now veterans as well, plus 3 cruisers. So I think we should be able to handle this. At least I hope so. You guys are on follow, that's fine for now. Tops off. Yeah, good. Oh, the brand new ship gets the honour of leading the line. Quite like that. Canaris is, I would prefer at the back. If I detach her and then put her back in, she should now decide she wants to go to the back. Yes, I think so. Good. Right, let's find these Japanese ships. Very far away from home. Yeah, Doxa and Canaris have swapped places. Good. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous stuff. Enemy in sight. Ooh. Coming in damaged. Badly damaged as well. No flooding, but yeah, look at that. The bits outside the citadel have been absolutely battered in. This ship is a little better off. Mark 1 guns, as I expected. 11 inches of nickel steel is not very good. It really isn't. Okay, I can see they're coming in with their presumably torpedo boats here. They outrange us slightly, but yeah, coming in with torpedo boats. Down she goes. Yeah, torpedo boats dealt with. Right, a couple of cruisers at the back there, and then they have their battleships. Start to close in a bit. Don't mind firing high explosive to start with. Their extended armour 3-inch probably can keep out a high explosive shell, even if it is a capitalistic one. Oh, I hit my conning tower. Yep, that'll be because there's no armour on it. Oh, actually, already moving out of the line. But, Asahi is a little bit better off. Okay, we're getting some hits now. Let's switch up to armor piercing, please. All ships. There we go. Who did that? Doxa. Main belt pen right on the waterline as well. A lot of water coming in. Turning away, but still bang to rights. Here comes the next salvo. Not a lot of damage, but some. Wonder if they're going to do a flying circus act and go around in circles as each ship tries to cycle away. Ooh, that was a hit from the 8-inch guns. Finally doing what I would hope they would do, which is damage the extended portions. Because if you can get, you know, the flooding and fires going here and here. Oh, I think a keel's broken. Oh, got one last shot off. But sinks. Well, actually, unfortunately for them, even a few hits are going to really cause them problems because of how much structural damage they've already got. There you go. Doxa with a hit on the tower. And handling themselves quite well, actually, considering. Oh, there you go. That was the Georgios. Yep. One shell right through the main belt. Into the machinery space, and the ship just falls apart. And now we should be able to remove these cruisers, semi-armoured cruisers by the looks of it. Pretty easily. Got him. And then, yeah, we should be able to finish off that last cruiser. Oh no! Oh, jeez. And with that, the Japanese adventure to the Mediterranean is over. Really, only 23,000 victory points. I would have thought I'll get a few more than that. They got one turn of blockade in, so I think that is enough to trigger the peace treaty condition. Just have a look. Yes, let's push for a peace treaty. The fleet, meanwhile, is going to head to... Well, how many thousand tons have we got? 63. We probably could take southern Turkey. Let's head over to southern Turkey and see if we can take that through a naval invasion. On land, looks like we'll be able to take eastern Rumelia easily enough. Not so sure about this offensive, and this one definitely isn't going to work. But we can take Lebanon, Syria, southern Turkey with the fleet easily enough. We could probably head around and take Kuwait and Iraq. No problem. And then it is sitting off Constantinople and bombarding it into the ground until we can get the required tonnage low enough to actually invade. That's the plan anyway. What have we got here? Oh, this is their one and only ship. Oh, well, we've got to blow that up. Also, every single destroyer from the entire Navy, for some reason. Why? Why are you all coming? 9 destroyers. 1 for each transport, I guess. That seems excessive. We'll bunch them up for now. Because I think the Batsis here should be able to handle things. I don't know how good this armoured cruiser is. Oh, it doesn't have very good torpedoes. I'm noticing that. What about transports? Unarmed. Well, okay then. To get rid of the transports just because they'll get in the way of any potential torpedo strikes I want to try and do. It's actually taken a surprising amount of time to sink them. Thought that we would be destroying them very rapidly, but apparently that's not the case. There we go. Right, you are now firing at the armoured cruiser. You actually have a solution there, I think. Start prepping a shot. Torpedoes away. Let's see how they do. Oh, got a hit on me there. Oh, one of them will hit. Right on the aft. Okay, next destroyer. You may fire when ready. Torpedoes away. You can fire too. Have the torpedoes approaching from two directions. Now those go wide. Another hit on the stern. Oh, there we go. No, they're done for. Torpedoes off for everybody. And we can finish off those transports. Nice for our destroyer crews to finally get some experience. Oh, you've lost your bow gun. It's not ideal. Go to times 10 now, I think. Sun down that last one. Oh no, it's already sunk. Cool. Well done to the light ships. Not really much the Turks can do about that. Right, well I guess I'll end the turn then. Right, I've ordered the invasion of southern Turkey. I don't think the Turks have any way to stop us. They're not building any ships. So it's not going to be the world's most interesting war. I did just get the Destroyer 2 unlocked. Ooh, 4-star boilers. So in a couple of months, I'll have a look at possibly a new destroyer. Because we are a little bit behind on the old destroyers. You know, we've got good ones. We've got... how many destroyers do we actually have? currently. 10 of the originals that have been refitted, and then we have 4 brand new builds. So yeah, 14 total, which is not a huge number. We're definitely going to need some after we take southern Turkey and the rest of the former Ottoman Empire. So yes, well, I'll get on that, but in 2 turns. Right, we have the forced boiler tech. So I think it is time to have a look at a new destroyer. So, one of the things that people have mentioned many times to me is that destroyers don't feel right when you're trying to build them. So basically there are 2 problems. The engine calculation I had to rework from scratch after the developers ruined it. It now produces realistic engine horsepowers at a relatively realistic weight. I'm not saying that they're exact, but they're in the right ballpark. And they're in the right ballpark of percentage weight for the ships, except destroyers, which do have a separate calculation. It's not like they don't. But the problem is the destroyer hulls are all too wide. Much too wide. So really, the formula only gives you a sensible destroyer if you go minimum beam, minimum drop. Fixing that is actually incredibly difficult. Because either destroyers are going to have their weird own... Because the horsepower affects the weight, which also affects the cost. If I change the calculation, then they'll be costed strangely compared to other ships. So really what we need to do is slim the hulls down, but that is not easy. Anyway, enough mumbling about such things. Our previous destroyer was 850 tons. I'm probably going to keep this as small as possible. 1045 sounds all right to me. I'd like standard. 33 knots would be lovely. What did the batch 2s do? 30. Okay. Running them on coal, though. Not the easiest. Yeah, we'll go forced. But yeah, you really need to get turbines if you're wanting to run any form of destroyer. It is really not going to work otherwise. Okay, I could go with a single funnel design. I can't do 33 knots though. Slow them down to 32. Well, I could, but it would be... They would have not the desired engine efficiency. Right, main guns, what have we got? Oh... 3, 4 are Mark 3s, and then the 5-inch is a Mark 2. Damn. I've kind of already started using 5-inch guns. Bugger. How long until I get a 5-inch? Because I have the 6-inch Mark 3. I assumed I had the 5-inch Mark 3. But I don't. But I can get it in another 2 turns. Okay, I wish I'd realised that earlier. Probably could have not edged people with that, starting that design. But I'll just pick up where I left off. Oh, that offensive is actually going through. Interesting. Oh, that explains why the Japanese don't like me. They're allied with Turkey. Well, that's their own problem, isn't it? France has retaken northeast Italy off the Argentinians, not the Italians, but the French. At least that is. I mean, it's still horrible border gore, but it's not quite as bad. I was considering doing it myself, but yeah, the French have done it for me. I'm much more interested in beating up the Turks, though. Okay, southern Turkey has been conquered. Another valuable province to add to the reforming Greek Empire, almost turning back into the Byzantine Empire here, but not quite. Yeah, we should be able to take Syria and Lebanon, no problem. And then, yeah, I think my best bet is to go grab Iraq and Kuwait and then come back and try and take Constantinople, just to give... I don't think this is going to go through, this land attack, but give the army as much of a chance as possible. Right, let's try building that destroyer. Now that we have the gun that I want to use. Destroyer 2, minimum beam, minimum draft, standard, 32. Forced, turbine, petrol, unbalanced. Let's use the good tower, a funnel. The only secondary tower I have access to, probably there-ish. Main gun, 5-inch. One on the front, probably. Oh, it wants me to put it right at the front. Maybe I can fit 2 in. And the other one is going to go here. Yeah, that's fine actually. Put a twin torpedo there, and then actually I'm going to put this on a barbette. So I can maybe fit a torpedo launcher on the aft and still be able to fire the gun aft, should I wish. Like so. That also gives us a bit of separation in the torpedo spread. And then I think I can use that to mount another gun forward, and we can see out of the bridge, which is lovely. So now we can carry 3 5-inch guns and 4 torpedo tubes. A definite improvement over the 2 5-inch guns that we were able to deploy before. Also notice I'm overweight, which is just lovely. But that is just par for the course when you're building destroyers, unfortunately. Probably got increased AP. Let's go. I'll have a look at the high explosive side of the shells in a moment. 19-inch torpedoes. Hydrophones. Useful. Obviously we'll want a little bit of armour on these. Enough that they don't immediately explode. We're a lot overweight. Yeah, you don't really get much pen out of these. Nose fuse drops it to 0 though, which is not ideal. 0.2 is fine though. Okay. We're spending a lot on engines and a lot on coal. We could make them slower. Saves a bit. It drops engines and boilers to the 3rd heaviest item. We could drop range because it is using coal. That gets us closer. And then we can actually start just embiggening the ship. 6 tons. That's pretty much at the limit, I think. Yeah, that is as big as I can make them. Stop putting an extra 0. So I just need to shave 6 tons of weight off. could make them cramped. It's not ideal, cramped quarters. Oh, actually, do you know what? There's another thing I could do. I could go reduced shells. There we go. That's easier. Because very rare that a destroyer runs out of ammunition on its guns. Can happen, but it's very rare. Even on reduced. And it should make them slightly less explosive. How many rounds per gun are they carrying? 176. That seems fine. And yeah, there we go. That's a nice little destroyer. Nice little destroyer, especially for the time period. The costs. Yes. Yes. Costs. Well, I already need one, but I'm going to need at least 3 to start off with. One of which must be in southern Turkey. I think I'm going to build 6. This will bring us up to 20. 20 destroyers total. And then I will need to build more once we take more stuff, basically. That's my plan. How many more would I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we might end up with slightly more. But yeah, basically making sure that there is at least one destroyer in every port is always good, because it means that the enemy can't get just free port strikes from every random ship that passes by. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon for some more Ultimate Naval Dreadnoughts. Bye for now.